Hello. Today you've made it to a really fun part of music theory. We're going to talk about Section 8, the major scale, and key signatures. You already know some things about major scales. A major scale is a series of 8 tones arranged in the following order of whole steps and half steps. And here is the order. So these are your answers: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. There are 2 ways to remember this. You can remember a silly sentence. We were happy when we were home. Or you can just remember that between notes 3 and 4 and 7 and 8, that is where the half steps occur. Either way will work. You might also note that the first note of the scale and the last note of the scale have a special name, tonic. They're also called keynote. So just keep that in mind. Whatever the name, the letter name of the scale is, that names the scale. So in this case, here we have a C, and this is called a C major scale. Each note in the scale is called a scale degree. So we're going to take a little bit of time to play a little game now with major scale degrees. So what I'd like to do is show you a game that we play in the studio, and we use our piano. So at your house, you can do this with your piano, and what you'll need is, of course, your piano, and you're going to need some cards that show half steps and whole steps. I have some that I've printed out from my game, but you might just want to make some that have the whole and half step pattern. So we're going to put this down here, and we're going to see if we can remember. Now in the studio, what we do is we mix these cards up, and we see who draws the correct card for the pattern. But today I'm just going to show you the pattern on the keyboard, and then if you want to make up your own game, that is fun too. The other thing you need for your game is some erasers to mark the scale degrees. These are numbered 1 through 8. So let's begin. We're going to play our game starting with a G. So the first thing we need between notes 1 and 2 is a whole step. So I will put my W card here to remind me that I need a whole step. So the first note is G, that's number 1. The second note is a whole step up, that's number 2. So if I were drawing notes on a staff, I would be drawing a G and an A. Now that's our first step, our first pattern. After the first one, the first whole step, we need a second whole step. And there it is. So we have to go back to A and think about what is a whole step up from A, and it is B. So there's where the third note goes. So for the beginning of the scale, we have whole, whole, and now between notes 3 and 4, we need a half step. So that is the next part of the pattern, and we're going to put our fourth eraser here. Whole, whole, half. So far, all of our notes are on white keys. The next part of the pattern calls for another whole step. And we are going to use our fifth eraser right here. And now we've built whole, whole, half, whole. The next part of our pattern calls for another whole step. And here we go with our sixth eraser. Wow, we've really almost built our scale starting on G. We have whole, whole, half, whole, whole, We need another whole step, and this is where it gets tricky. If we're not paying attention, we might just put another eraser right here, but that would be a half step. We need a whole step. Whole step means a key in between. So in order for the scale to sound correct, we need to follow this pattern. And so we are almost done. The last thing we need between the 7th and the 8th note is another half step, pardon me, and that goes right there. So starting on G, those are our notes, and this is how it sounds.